So what I'm showing folks is, registering to the event, and it'll take you to the CAPE post registration website. The short URL for this is cape.io/workshop/register. So for Satish, since you joined just right after this, we were talking about it. We are doing a workshop for CAPE next Monday at the same time, but it's a 2-hour window. So feel free to spread the message. I know you are traveling. We are going to record this. The idea is to create these on-demand labs so folks can basically set up a CAPE, run Argo CD or full CAPE. We'll start building this up from small agentic, like here is how you create agents, here is you can run all of CAPE with IDP Builder, and how you can run LangFuse and C traces. So that's what is planned for next Monday. And we'll also include some notions around identity with Keycloak and Agent Gateway. I'll do a demo of Agent Gateway here. So yeah, that's the plan. Sujata, Hasid, you guys have been in the thick of it, and the rest of the team. Anything you want to highlight for the workshop?
Yeah, so about the shareable badges, I'm going to meet the Cisco IT at 10:30. So I'll drop half an hour early from the meeting. So we have given the, you know, date as 19th. So hopefully if the call goes well today, we should be on track to be able to issue the badges that will be shareable on LinkedIn, for people who do the workshops.
Yeah. So just so what Sujata said, the context is Sujata is working with Cisco IT. So we have a Credly account. So Credly, as you know, you can issue badges, like numbered badges for different things you do trainings on. It's just another way of like getting more community engagement and also awareness about CAPE. So again, it's a way to kind of build that momentum for CAPE. So that we thought it would be a good way to, if folks did a CAPE Explorer, workshop or training, they can show that badge, and it also brings that momentum. It's just a way to do some organic OSS communication momentum. Yeah, so the badge discussion is in our discussion page, item number 245. So if you see that, with some generous time from Outshift Marketing, we created these generic non, it doesn't attribute anything to Cisco or anything. It's just an open source. It says CAPE OSS badges. So please take a look. And again, like we said, as people do these workshops, we will figure out a way to issue them and have a step, level up. How do you acquire new badges? Like how do you go from level 1 to level 2 and 3 and 4? Let me pause here. Are there any community questions on this, on the approach of badges or anything in your flow on this? If not, we will park the actual demo. Stefan, just queuing you. If you want to show the platform at the later part of the demo, that will be good to show what the lab will look like. The content may change a little bit, and this can also be useful if you are doing your own labs. We can eventually convert this into a AWS workshop as well. I think Pankaj made a suggestion about that. Any final comments before I move on to the next topic? Okay, we said workshop. Right, let's Let's go to roadmap update. I think this may be a good time to also bring in Satish. You're working on a couple of things. I went through some of the roadmap project board and cleaned up, and we did an internal review of folks working on things and removing old issues. So under project, if you go to the status board, um, the in progress items will look current. So there is a hackathon that's planned by Hasid for a university locally in London. So the dates are yet to be finalized. If you have any suggestions on other hackathons we could do, please surface it here. But one that is being planned middle of October in London, UCL. We had some internship partnership with UCL. A lot of interns came from UCL, so this is a good opportunity to plan that. I'm going to just run through this quickly. Feel free to stop me. So there is work happening with the Agent Gateway project. I will do a demo of that later in the session. So show how Agent Gateway can be used for authn and authz for MCP. This is a very cool initiative there. There is I put a link here that one of our interns, Omar, committed merged the AWS agent MCP servers implemented with strands. Any additional strands, I think Satish, you are looking into it, feel free to add. Yeah. Yeah, working towards adding authentication A2A auth support. That's underway. Shubham and Rihan are working on unifying RAG and GraphRag using Milvus. Our RAG is functional. We deployed that to our production. It's working very well. Happy to actually demo that. Maybe Shubham, feel free to show that, or we can queue that up for a demo. Seems like there are some activities with Open API CodeGen type stuff. Yeah, A2A streaming is also being worked on. A2A middleware authentication.
Is that just the supervisor streaming, or is it streaming from the agents to the supervisor to?
I think just the supervisor streaming. The agent to supervisor. It's Arthur said there are some complexities to that. Not you may have understood that, but he has a plan.
Okay.
He actually got this mostly working. He is attending a conference he actually is in the States right now. Anyway, when he's back, we can discuss. So orthogonally, we have an internal project called Circuit, basically our internal IT allows every team to register agents internally through if we support A2A and streaming. So this also is helpful. So we're deploying Cape. We're gonna enable the front door streaming from supervisor. My recollection, Arthur said, was maybe the agents already do support streaming and maybe some hooks weren't enabled. Anyway, for now, this is focused on the supervisor streaming, basically token streaming. So you'll basically get like ChatGPT or other Claude, you'll basically get the token streaming. Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you have any considerations or requirements, Adam, in what you think about?
No, I had done like a really rudimentary implementation of having this stream to like Agent Forge.
Okay.
But the supervisor streaming is okay. Maybe it'd be really cool to have the the sub agents stream.
Sounds good.
Well.
In fact, we have a story for Agent Forge streaming. We put it back in the backlog. Even if it's a patch, if you can just even upstream or just throw a patch.
Yeah, I can upstream it. The approach I'm taking, it may not fly, but I'll definitely put it there for people to.
Yeah, and we, in fact, part of our work with Spotify, we are code owners to this space.
Yeah, the community plugin, right?
So, yeah. So please, please add it here, and And if you can do a patch or a PR to Agent Forge, so either Stefan, myself, or Shubham can approve that, validate
Yeah,
that.
I've been a little bit remiss about upstreaming some stuff, but I definitely have some more capacity in the next coming weeks, so I expect to see some more stuff from me.
Great, really appreciate it. So we have an intern project that has done a VS Code extension around our original version of Jarvis. So Ricky is reworking that to work with Cape. So as soon as that is available, basically a VS Code plugin, the chat CLI in agent mode can talk to Cape, and you can
There's
do your
someone
yeah.
developed it's MIT licensed a A2A client VS Code extension that already exists.
Okay.
I'll share it in there just for prior.
Yeah,
And if
can
you
you
guys
throw it
have
in the
it, yeah.
chat? Yeah, if you can throw it in the Slack chat, I'm going to tag Ricky. There is some work in Milvus collections and Redis optimization that's ongoing. Um, so coming to code duplication, I guess, Satish, this is on you. Do you want to give an update?
Yeah, sure. I did simplify a lot of things. Created a lot of parent classes and that simplified a lot of things. I got make working. I'm trying to get Docker Compose because the class path and all. I'm having issues with that, and I'm on PTO from tomorrow. So I will deliver whatever I have. I will show you offline, Shri,
Yeah,
right after this call, how it works, right? It's all like, there is no dependency and all, right? With supervisor, it is self-contained like any other agent.
yeah,
So it works fine. And the way I have, I have done two of the agents. One is Argo CD that is very straightforward, but with AWS, I created a subfolder within AWS because we have around 45 MCP servers or whatever, right? So I created created an agent for each MCP server, like for documentation and all, right? And the whole folder path changes compared to everything else because it becomes AWS, and within AWS, there's a documentation, EKS, whatever, right?
yeah.
So some of those things, they all work fine with Make, but I just have to test it with Docker Compose. So I will show you what I have.
Yeah.
A lot of the configuration that was in the code. Now it is in YAML, like agent card and all those, so that it's easier to test. So I'll show you after this call what I have.
Sounds good. Yeah, and
And
feel free
we
to,
can take
we'll
it.
have enough time for demos, so feel free to show what you have, or we can do
Uh,
offline. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I think that'll be a good. I know you have your PTO coming up, so the team can basically at least get that in with some refactoring. Otherwise, the
yeah.
longer we wait, it can.
I know, I know, I know. It's just the timing wise, it's not really working out very well. I would have preferred to complete this, but I will share whatever I
Yeah.
have, and you can pick and choose whatever makes
Yeah, and
sense.
we'll preserve your commit so that you get the commit
Okay.
attribution back
Okay.
to the repo. I think rest of the work is related to enabling prompt optimization. We integrated LangFuse. That chart will go in, and more regression testing. I think the persona agents that are here, product owner, incident engineer, they can be done. Some of the refactoring that Satish you mentioned, the
Hmm.
proposal with, how do you create persona agents?
Yeah.
I think we can park that until that code
Yeah.
is available. So I think this is related to that. Um, rest of it are mostly bugs around this. Uh, there are some features around integrating with agent code and other spikes. These are worthwhile things maybe to look into. Maybe Satish, when you get
Yeah.
back, or
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
I know you had this on your radar too.
Yeah. Because pretty much, we are going to at least support few destinations, right? One will
Right.
be Kubernetes, one will be Docker, Make, and fourth one will be Agent Core. And whatever comes next, that we, at least the architecture should be easy enough to accommodate whatever comes next.
Right.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I think with the introduction of Agent Gateway, which I'll talk in a minute, it'll make it easy to wherever your MCP server is, you can set the right policies within your
Okay.
system to make it work. I think those are the project updates. I think we haven't done this style of updates in a while. I think it's good to keep this board up to date so that we know what's coming and we can also influence what we need, what we need to happen, make it happen. I think one thing I don't see is the workshop. I will definitely include that. One final pause before we move on. Anything else on this board we want to talk about, highlight? Yeah, I think there is a story here around Agent Factory for flexible composition. I think some of this may be achievable with K-Agent as well. I think this is something we discussed a while ago. Certainly, I've seen a demo of K-Agent presented in another community, and it seems interesting way to compose these. Anyway, we don't need to design the solution here, but we can, whoever is looking at it, into it, if Adam, if you have time or features.
Yeah, I can definitely go with that. Has anyone had a chance to go down the rabbit hole that is the React agent versus using state graph? Because it looks like, I don't know, it's so confusing to me. I've been trying to read through all the LangGraph documentation, but it seems like they're moving away from pre-built. So like they don't necessarily want us to use React agents and they want us to build our own state graphs.
Yeah. So in our internal implementation, we actually don't use the pre-built. We have built a full like graph from scratch.
Okay. So
There are certainly advantages of doing that because you have more control over your graph nodes and how do you go from one node to other, because they have that go-to method now in LangGraph.
Yeah.
You can go from, you don't have to really do a tree traversal anymore. You can go from any node to any node. What I think what they're focused on more and more and Harrison about it. In fact, this repo moved from Harrison's repo to LangChain. So they're really focused on this deep agents framework. There is at least a story in our board to make our supervisor basically a deep agent instead of like a hierarchy. So what a deep agent can do is it can give more functionality to the supervisor. It can draw from a planning. It basically, you know, how a Claude code or a QCLI says, hey, here is the things I'll do for you.
Yeah.
To-do list, and it'll go check those off. That's what we're seeing happen more and more in the LangChain ecosystem.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're solely LangChain, but I mean, I realize we're doing strands and stuff, but I mean, I think you know, we're primarily.
Yeah. So there is this one, and in another working group that I'm part of, we're doing another thing, kind of like we're calling it a meta agent. It's still a bit work in progress. So in this development working group, so the idea with this agent is it can launch other agents from this agent. It's still very early scaffolding that me and a few others are working on. But it's like a deep agent, right? You can launch other tasks or agents from this meta everything agent. I'll drop this link here. But this is something that still, the progress has been slower than what you wanted, but this group is also very similarly set up with like Pinot groups. But the focus here is to provide some reference architectures for agentic development, but not like a use case agents. Anyhow, I think moving on.
Sorry.
Yeah. So we discussed the workshop and project updates. I think we have at least 2 demos. We can do the agent gateway demo, workshop. Stefan, are you in a good place to show the workshop just for the audience? Anyway, we'll do it next week if the platform is not ready.
I'll show you shortly, but I think we showed it last time, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm moving. Yeah, so let's.
Yeah, we can skip that. And we can also give time, Satish, for you to take rest of the time to show the work in progress. Let me quickly show how agent gateway works, and then in the context of like doing a simple weather agent, then we can give rest of the time to Satish. While I set that up, feel free to, if there are any Q&A, feel free to bring it up.
I have one question to table, which is really around adoption and getting more folks involved. I think that's something we need to try. So I think it's great with, we have Adam as a first success story. I think we need to look at, okay, how do we, part of it is capturing, that success and amplifying it in the community, and also how do we get some of the other end user, enterprises and people actually involved. It's not just running Cape, but then actually going and applying it, and hey, these are the problems that I'm facing, and so that way, that feedback loop is important, right? Design partners, feedback loop type of thing, right? Because when we are evolving this, anyway, that's something that is in my mind. But go ahead, Adam, if you have anything to add.
No, yeah. So I mean, we're using it in production capacity, but we kind of have it like as like alpha release. So we're hoping, probably in the next like month. I'm giving a couple talks internally about the tool, and so I mean, I think after that maybe we could partner and make some sort of announcement. I could work with my with Demand Base's like marketing team and have some cool stuff on LinkedIn just to kind of talk about it and hype up both Demand Base obviously and Canoe. So I mean, I think that would be definitely something that I think would be good. I just have to get like a little bit more success so I can. But we're close. We're close. So
That's awesome. That'll be like pretty awesome. And yeah, hopefully we need to convince a couple other people. So Sadesh, maybe of leads. If any of you guys also running in different forums, which anybody who's willing to try and actually take some of this into part, right?
Yeah, I don't really know because it's so weird. I mean, I happen to, the only reason I even found about Canoe was because of like an off chance meeting with my AWS rep, and so like I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like it's still not out there, but I mean, obviously, I try and repost your guys' stuff on LinkedIn, you know what I mean? But I don't know how to help spread the word out there. I see you're active. I see there's a lot of activity, from like Carlos and other people and like some of the other Discords for other projects, but
yeah. And part of it is the thing. I mean, it's not just the tech, right? It's also really the community, right? Depending on how much activity, who's by, and then it kind of like goes on, right? So just, but so far good. I mean, we also at least investing for the moment, right? Like, which is good, right? We need to kind of like almost make this big enough so it sustains, right? Because like that's the goal. So let's see. I mean, hopefully we are getting there. So go ahead, dear.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's a thread that maybe, definitely, Adam, let's work together on highlighting that work, and hopefully the workshop will drive some more of that interest. As it, we can also get the broader kind of interest.
And I think we should probably leave like a small section for Adam so he can also talk about it, right? I think that those things are very powerful, right? Especially like it's the, yeah.
So the idea with agent gateway, and I don't know if you all have played with it before or seen it. It's really the in a nutshell, it acts as a reverse proxy to your MCP servers. Whether those MCP servers are, it's a Kubernetes first reverse proxy written in Rust, and it's really meant to work very closely with a gateway architecture, gateway CRD in Kubernetes. So K-gateway being its sponsor or solo, um, I think it's meant to kind of really gel well together. But it also can be deployed independently. That's what I did here is to prove how it can work independently. Um, as I mentioned, it's a reverse proxy from, let's say you have your remote MCP servers even hosted on a HTTP endpoint, or their remote MCP servers as Docker containers in your local Kubernetes, or their MCP servers running on Agent Core. And you have different authentication authorization model with each of these systems. And the reverse proxy agent gateway can take a user context token, a JWT token, authenticate who they are based on scopes and validity of JWT token using the key set. And also based on the scopes that are provisioned, you can say, okay, if the user has scope to talk to AWS, then allow them to talk to the reverse proxy. So it just provides a solid reverse proxy capabilities. And it also has A2A reverse proxy, which I haven't used. I think MCP seems like the most obvious use case here, especially if you can throw in all the dozens of MCP servers that we, let's say, all the AWS Labs MCP servers, the ones we wrote, and the ones that are in remote like GitHub, and you put the right authentication authorization recipe, and Agent Gateway uses something called CEL. So CEL is like OPA. It's a common expression language where you can define your authorization primitives. I don't have any opinion on CEL yet. It seems reasonable to read at this point. I think it is supported in Kubernetes. I think it's originally started by, I think, Google, as far as I know, but it's a community project. Yeah, it basically does attribute-based access control. So what I'm going to show you is I have a a hosted weather MCP server that we used for our demos. This is something we use, like we'll use our demos as well. So this is an MCP server that I'm reverse proxying. So I'm going to start with this MCP server. So I can connect to this MCP server without any token, and I can list tools. It uses Open Meteo. That's an open telemetry. Since I live in Allen, I'm going to ask a question. Okay, what's the weather in Allen? It actually does a geo coordinate search and picks the top city. So there could be many Allens, Allen in Georgia, Allen here in Texas. So it picks the city and it does the weather. So that's the MCP server that's there, and you can search multiple cities, or you can search something like London, right? So and it can actually go. I think the search city only does coordinates. So this is actually our. I think this is a mock weather service. I don't think we open sourced it, but we can easily put it in the open source. It was done as part of workshop, and in fact, it would be good to open source weather, and there is a mock pet store as well that we put that together. I think by the time in time for workshop, we'll open source this. So the idea is that we have this open MCP server. In the process, on my Linux machine here, I'm running agent gateway, and I'm actually using something called CCI, Cisco Identity, to validate the same SSO capabilities. So you'll see in the authentication that the issuer is id.cisco.com, and there is audience which comes with the JWT token, and I have a client ID, client secret. In the background, I generated a JWT token. So what I'll do is I'm going to replace this with my Linux box IP. It's accessible only in our internal subnet, Cisco routable IP. So if I disconnect this and reconnect, it'll give me an error. So the error is not very obvious, but I'm going to go back here and do a quick curl request here, right? So I'm going to do a curl request to this and then do a -v to show you. So should I got the IP correct? 55, yeah, I'm going to do port 3000. So let me make sure that I got the port as well, right? I do port 3000. So that's where the agent gateway is running. So I'll do another connect. It's still, the error is not very clear. That's just the upstream MCP inspector not showing the correct error. So when I do a curl request, you'll see that it's giving a 401. Basically, the agent gateway in the middle is rejecting that, saying that, hey, I need a JWT token to authorize. And it's also expecting that JWT to come from our production id.cisco.com because it's going to use that token to validate the key set. So I'm going to pause my recording so I can generate a new token. And then I'll copy that token so I don't put that in the recording. So let me clear my window, go back to browser, restart my, yeah. So now I have a authorization header with the bearer token. I'm going to paste that token here. I have a beach ball, give it a second. So the idea is that now you are proxying this request via the agent gateway, and you're passing the JWT token. Make sure that for some reason my paste is being weird. I may have to exit my browser here. Exit the browser. Okay, I think my browser finally died. Go back here and go to me reopen my localhost. So yeah, like I said, I have the MCP server. I'm going to go paste the token, and I'm going to reconnect here. So check if the proxy is running. Let me make sure that the proxy is also restarted because I have been fiddling with this since the demo. Go back here, restart the proxy. So what I'm doing here is I have the agent gateway. This is just the binary. I'm not running in Kubernetes. I'm just starting with this configuration. So this is all plain text configuration. It's saying that it exposes agent gateway on port 3000. It's exposing some paths, which I really don't care for, these protected paths, because anyway, the token endpoint will be done out of band in our case. All I'm exposing is the /MCP path. This is the target path I'm exposing through 3000. What's interesting is the proxy, once you configure the JOX URL and the issuer and what is your audience, could be different audience where you're using Cognito or something, you'll have different audience, you'll have your subject, etc. So once you set all of this up and you're going to start your agent gateway, it'll come up here, and you can also navigate that here. So this is my Linux box. So I'm navigating to this so I can see the backend. So now that the gateway is up, I'm going to reconnect to the gateway. Maybe my paste is again, I need to get a new token. Let me get my token here. Copy the token, Control C, paste it. Okay, assume. So I'll go reconnect. So I'm able to reconnect because I have set up the right auth and auth. So I can see the same tools. So I don't need to show the same demo. What I'll do now is just to show you some interesting things here. So I'll go back here and select policies. So you can go to an MCP authorization and say, okay, I'm going to add a rule here saying I'm going to restrict my MCP tool dot name. I'll make a list of this and I'll restrict this to something like search city. So that's all I want to expose. I don't want to expose any other tools from that proxy, right? So I'll save that policy. Maybe I didn't get that. Maybe it's comma separated. Pardon me. Yeah, let me get that fixed. So when I save that, I do wrong here. Let me go fix that. Let me go get that edit one more time. Add a simple rule to mcp.rule.name double equals search city. So I'm going to save that policy. It will auto reload the agent. So I'll go back here, disconnect from that MCP server, reconnect, and clear and list tools again. So you'll see that when I connect, I only see it's filtering out the list tools to just that one allow listed tool, right? And you can do this comma separated. This is, to me, the coolest thing, because let's say I'm talking to my GitHub remote copilot, and I don't want to expose all the tools to our end users, right? I want to restrict this, like I want them to only do a certain thing. So, and I think the fact that it has the capability to do authentication, and also you can set up scopes. This is something we want to do in Keycloak, is that we want to add custom scopes. So our authorization server, authentication server, there are some nuances to adding custom scopes, but with Keycloak, you could do a bunch of custom scopes. You still have to do user to scope mapping. That's something that's still non-trivial, but anyway, if that is done well, you can imagine there is a read scope for a certain agent. Then you can say if that GitHub read token is enabled, then you can call this tool, stuff like that. I think a lot of that can be written as CEL. So anyway, I wanted to show this to folks, get some initial impressions, and as we are implementing this. Haven't fully explored everything, but this is where agent gateway is going to head. Questions, thoughts, impressions?
I think it makes sense. And especially the policy and all, right? I think at some point this will mature, and I think this is where it'll go, right?
Yeah.
Once you start thinking about production and all that. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. Especially even if the agent gateway is not exposed outside the cluster, imagine running Argo CD MCP server, Argo CD agent, and setting only policies for certain CRUD operations within the tooling. So that will be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's cool because, like, I mean, I know, like, well, there's like the concept of namespacing, right? But like, you can cheat a little bit on exposing different tools to different agents that maybe would conflict otherwise, like, just little minutia stuff that you can really tweak there. So I think that's really useful for those use cases for exposing to an agent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think where we are at with this R&D is we need to make this more palatable from a Kubernetes consumption, like with K-Gateway, and making it easy to deploy into a EKS or a kind cluster. So once we get those next steps, then it's a rinse and repeat for all the agents, and letting the community build the policies they need for their own use cases. All right, I think that's the agent gateway demo. I think we will skip the show in the workshop. We already showed the scaffolding of it last time. We will polish up the content for next week. Satish, the floor is all yours if you want to show
Sure.
any work in progress.
Yeah, just
Okay.
give me a second. I don't know why it is not letting me share my screen. It says provide access to WebEx. It is already there. I'll do it again. Maybe I need to rejoin. Let's see.
Okay. Yeah, since this is more of a working session, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here.